Hey guys, Tobin here from SnapToCover.com. Sorry I didn't make a video in a while. My hard drive actually crashed shortly after making the last video. But we're back. Got my hard drive all straightened out. I got a new graphics card, so hopefully that'll be making the videos a little bit better. And I've basically put back the mission exactly where we left it. The only thing I've done differently is I took these guys and I grouped them. So you just grab the group tool and drag from one to the other, and that will connect those two guys, make them a group. I've placed myself down as a civilian, that way I don't get shot as I do this next tutorial. And then I upped the skill level of the Blue Force soldiers, all the AI. I've set the skill level to max. So hopefully these guys will be a really good elite fighting force. So this tutorial is all about using the Waypoint Tool. Waypoint Tool is essential to mission creation. It's basically how you tell the AI to do what you want them to do. So what we're going to do is we're going to make this team of Blue 4 do exactly what we've done in the last two videos. So they're going to run to the car. They're going to drive out of the base, come to here, get out, and then assault this this gas station. So to start things off, let's click on the leader with our feet selected and double click next to the car. This will bring up the Waypoint menu. Here we can do select type. This is the action that you want the AI to perform. So we can set this as get in nearest. Waypoint order. This comes up later if you want to try and insert something in between. Maybe I'll show that off just to show you guys how it works. Placement radius, they don't have to go exactly where you say. You can offset it by a couple yards or meters, I believe it is. Height, you can set the height of where the objective is. So if you want them to get to the top of a building instead of just to the building, you can set the height up a certain number of meters, and that'll get them to climb the stairs and try to get to that waypoint. Timeout, you can basically make them hold for a little bit before they do the next objective. Combat mode, this is basically what their action is. They can either never fire or they can open fire and engage at will. So if they see somebody, they'll shoot. Formation, you can set the different formations that they'll be walking in as they try to get to the objective. Speed, you can set it from anything from a limited walk pace to normal to full. And then behavior, we can set this to be careless, where they're basically just relaxing, all the way to stealth, where they're basically just trying, use that for like ambushes, where they're basically going to go prone and kind of just lay down. Then you've got combat and aware. Aware is the fastest. They'll basically keep moving in the direction that you want them to go at whatever speed you pick, but they'll only break and start going into combat or safe if they see enemies. And there's really no way around this unless you do careless. Condition, like it has been in most things, you can set this as a variable, or you can just set it to true, and they'll immediately try to go to it as soon as they reach it. On activation, so as soon as they reach this waypoint, you can have a script fire. So that could be something like a bomb going off, or maybe a cutscene plays or something like that. But for now, we're just going to say that they're aware. We want them to be at full speed, and we want to get them into the car basically as fast as possible. So with this, they're going to run over here, and they're going to get into the nearest vehicle. Then what we're going to do is we want them to drive to here. And we don't want to just move there. We want to have them get out. And we want this speed to be full. And we want the behavior to be aware. Formation and combat's not going to really matter. But let's hit OK there. And they will follow this road, but we actually want them to not fly through the base. So they can fly once they get out of the base, but we don't want them. So let's double click right here. And let's change the waypoint order to here. This means they'll basically get in the car, then they'll do this action, and then they'll continue on to the next waypoint. So let's do this as move. We're going to set the speed to be limited, and that will be good for that. Oh, I messed up. Did the wrong waypoint order. Let's change move to get out. There we go. So they're basically going to get in the car. They're going to slowly move to the edge of the base. Once they leave the base, they're going to fly down the road to this position and then get out. The next thing we want them to do is to basically search and destroy this gas station. So we're going to set seek and destroy as the select type. I'm going to set the speed to full. I'm going to set the formation to staggered column. Behavior is going to be aware, because that's the fastest way to get them in. Otherwise, they'll leapfrog their way up and around this base, which is probably the more tactical thing to do, is take it slow and come in from a higher elevation with some rocks for cover. But we don't want them to do that. So let's just switch to the combat mode, open fire, engage at will. And let's hit OK. All right, so those guys are all set. Let's make the enemy look like they're actually doing something instead of just standing around being bored. So let's click on one of the op4. Make sure our feet are still selected. We're going to click here, and we're going to do move. We're going to make the combat mode is fine, no change. Formation, we want them to be in a column. Speed, we're going to do limited, and behavior, we're going to do careless. So we got that. Now we're going to make a second waypoint, no change. We want them to do exactly what we had them do in the other one. Let's hit OK. And then we want them to basically try to just keep walking around. So if we click here and do move, they'll basically walk from point A to point B to point C and then stop. But we want them to go back to point A. So what we're going to do is select type and change this to cycle, and this will make them rotate around the map. So let's hit OK, and you can see that there's another black line connecting to the beginning. And so they'll basically rotate around and around and around. So that is all we need for this mission. A few waypoints, and they'll basically do exactly what we've done in the previous tutorial. So let's do preview and see what happens here. Alrighty. Let's click here, and you can see those guys. Hopefully they're pretty small from this distance. But they're basically walking around the gas station. If we run over here, these guys should be getting in the car and starting to leave the base. Yep, there's the car. Slowly rolling out of the base. And he's going to put the pedal down and hopefully fly down the road. There you go. Picking up some speed as he gets here. And he should move up, come to a stop. They'll get out. Set up a nice 360. As each of them peel out of the car. And I don't know why they're running backwards. Looks like they're going to go up over the hill anyways. But at least they're set at aware. I tried this before and set them at a combat pace, and it sucked. But I think because we upped the skill on these guys, they're actually going to have a better route of attack. Let's just follow them and see what happens. These guys are running along the side of the mountain. Actually a much better approach, a lot more rocks. Moving on up. Should be almost over the gas station at this point. Starting to engage. See if we can get some eyes on the gas station. We set these guys as careless instead of aware. So they're basically just walking around even though they're getting shot at. This guy's breaking. They got him. Alright, so they've taken all those guys. Now so the game will put them into a combat stance when they start taking contact. Once they realize that it's clear, they should go back to an aware stance and continue on to the waypoint. But either way, now that they're in combat, they're still going to try and keep going to that waypoint. Oh, they saw the MRAP. Huh. I guess they can see it from there. That's one thing about ArmA. Readying your missions, the hardest part is playtesting and making sure that the AI go where you want them to go and do awesome stretches as they get up off the ground. So I think that's where we're going to end this one. In the next one, we're going to be working on triggers. Basically, we're going to have exactly what happened go off, but as soon as they get into the gas station, we're going to have that MRAP come flying down and let them deal with that. So let's call it quits there. If you guys have any comments or questions, suggestions, things you'd like to see, just leave those in the comments and I'll try to factor those into future videos. Hey guys, Tobin here. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, always snap to cover.